This is John with the latest on the NFL NFC playoff race as we go into Week 7. Calculations are from my free tool at playoffcomputer.appspot.com. If you are at least mildly entertained with this, all the internet likes are appreciated, as well as comments, questions, and suggestions. An extended discussion of this is on the Playoff Race podcast at Spotify and elsewhere. Well, NFC got steamrolled by the AFC in the interconference games last week, except for the Cowboys. That means any NFC team that managed to win made a big leap in their playoff chances. It also means the estimated number of wins likely needed for a wild card took a hit, which might be some consolation for the battered of the NFC. 49ers and Eagles got their first losses of the year to, of course, the Browns and Jets. But strictly talking odds, their playoff chances didn't suffer too much. The Lions now look like a team to beat as they joined the top dog record-wise. The Cowboys were the lone NFC team to beat an AFC one, and beating the Chargers while the Eagles lost put them right back into the division race and made them one of the big winners of the week, increasing their playoff odds by 12 to 61%. The Buccaneers and Seahawks both fell to 3-2, but are still above the fray. The Bucs with slightly better chances due to still leading their division. The Rams and Commanders were the other big winners for the week, getting back to 500 and back into the playoff race with almost everyone else losing. The Falcons still technically have the best odds out of the 3-3 group thanks to their tiebreaker records. The Packers avoided the NFC bloodshed just out of the crowd. The only other NFC team that won, the Vikings, preserved some hope to stay at least within earshot of the conversation. The 1-5 teams are falling off the radar, and I think one more Panthers loss would put them into my no chance column. But as of right now, they, along with everyone else, still control their own destiny. Looking at the divisions, starting with the NFC East, the Eagles let the Cowboys back into the division race. Those two still have a few weeks to go before they play each other. As of now, the computer says it looks like 11 wins will be needed to win that division. Wildcard is looking like 9 or 10 wins being the most likely number necessary, maybe closer to 9. Incidentally, there are some scenarios remaining in which a team with 7 wins could get a wildcard spot. There are also scenarios remaining in which a team with 12 wins gets left out. But 9, maybe 10 is the sweet spot of most likely number of wins needed for right now. For wildcard tiebreaker consideration, note the Cowboys have 0 wins that will matter so far in their 1-2 conference record, so without improving that, they may very well likely lose out to teams in the 3-3 club were they to tie. TeamRankings.com has the division being neck and neck at the end between the Eagles and Cowboys, with no one else near. Thanks to them for letting me use their data. Over in the NFC North, one circus lion alone in the ring right now. Overwhelming odds to win the division. And they do have a win over their closest competitor, the Packers, so they cannot lose that head-to-head tiebreaker. Those Packers, along with the Vikings, trying to get back to 500 and be relevant. Best estimate is 10 wins required to win the division. Team rankings projections are for the Lions to win it easily, with the Packers and Vikings finishing at 8 and 9 and missing the playoffs barely. For what it's worth, the Packers own a win over the Saints, but a loss against the Falcons if it were to become tiebreaker relevant. The Vikings' most likely relevant head-to-head games are both losses, Bucs and Eagles. NFC South, every team lost, leaving the Buccaneers still in the lead by a half game over the Falcons and Saints. They haven't played the Falcons yet, but do own a win over the Saints. Computer's guess at wins needed for division is 10. Team rankings projections have it Saints 9-8, Bucs and Falcons at 8-9. Falcons' most relevant past games for tiebreaker purposes are a win over the Packers and a loss to the Commanders. Saints haven't beaten anyone halfway decent in their conference yet, with a loss to the Packers. The 49ers outdid themselves in proving they were human, but since the Seahawks also lost, no real damage was done. Rams, though, are now close enough to warrant discussion. Best guess for wins needed to take the division is around 10-11. Team rankings projections are for 3 teams here to go to the playoffs. Seattle has a nice 3-1 conference record, but no wins that will likely end up mattering. The Rams do own a victory over the Seahawks, but a loss to the Eagles if it comes down to wild card tiebreakers. There's only 4 intra-conference NFC games this week. Looking at how they affect the playoff chances of the non-combatants in each one, everybody would benefit from a Commanders loss, other than the Commanders, of course. Interestingly, perhaps a few teams would benefit from a Falcons win over the Buccaneers, notably the Saints and Commanders, while anyone else in the playoff hunt should root for a Buccaneers win. Everyone would stand to gain from another Cardinals upset, and all would gain from the 49ers knocking the Vikings back out of the wildcard race, although that would hurt the Seahawks and Rams division winning chances. That's it for now. Again, my site is playoffcomputer.appspot.com. Please check it out if you play in or in particular commish a fantasy or other sports league. Enjoy your day.